who better to help us understand the legal aspects of this impeachment battle than Fox News legal analyst and the author of the brand new book, Witch Hunt, Gregg Jarrett is here. Gregg, let's just start with the latest on impeachment, and then we'll get to the new information in your book after that. But just very clearly, what is the argument here about the legal basis for this impeachment effort?
There is no legal basis. The criminal division at the Department of Justice, these are career prosecutors, the best in the nation, looked at the official record of the conversation between President Zelensky and Trump, and they unanimously concluded there is no crime, there's no campaign finance violation. So on what basis are Democrats moving for impeachment? They've embraced this rather amorphous notion of, oh, it's an abuse of power because he was targeting his political opponent, Joe Biden. This is exactly what the framers feared, that an opposing party would seek for purely political reasons to try to remove a president. But as you pointed out, when Biden engaged in a quid pro quo, he was vice president. He wasn't running for president at the time. And this president, any president who has reason to believe that a public office holder is engaged in a corrupt act, it's incumbent upon his Department of Justice or him to ask Ukraine, look, if you have evidence of this, please turn it over to us, because it's a crime for a public office holder to confer a benefit in exchange for something of value to himself, or in this case, to his son. This hasn't been debunked as the media and Biden claim. There's enough evidence here to justify looking into it.
And so can I just, on that point, ask you about the Rudy Giuliani role? Because a lot has been made of I hear this question the whole time. Well, if there's something to investigate here, why doesn't President Trump use the resources at his disposal as running the executive, the FBI, and so on, the Justice Department? Why has he got Rudy Giuliani doing it? But it seems to me that Attorney General Barr was mentioned in connection with these investigations. So what are they talking about?
Well, the president can use whomever he wants. That's his right as chief executive. But it was actually Bill Barr, the attorney general, who asked the president to please introduce him to foreign leaders to pursue his official Department of Justice investigation into the origins of the Trump-Russia collusion hoax and any other related matter. So if Giuliani runs across, in his capacity as the attorney for the president, information about a potential corrupt act by Joe Biden, he has every right to further look into it and turn it over to the Department of Justice on behalf of the president.
All right, now let's move to your fantastic book, the follow-up to the Russia hoax, Witch Hunt. I saw you on Fox and Friends talking about it this week. Together they promised 3 reveals in your book that were new pieces of information that we had to know about. But there was only time; they ran out of time, and we only got to 2 of them. Can you give us all 3 tonight, Gregg?
Sure. One of the astonishing things I found out is the appointment of Bob Mueller as special counsel was made by Rod Rosenstein not because the law or evidence merited it, because he got mad at Trump. It was an act of vengeance and retaliation against the president. And Rosenstein knew what he did was wrong. When confronted on the day of the appointment in his office, he literally cowered behind his desk and blubbered, "Am I going to get fired?" That's consciousness of guilt. The other reveal is that a year before Mueller came out with his report, there was this ugly confrontation between Trump's lawyers and Bob Mueller and his team of partisans, in which Mueller admitted there was no evidence of collusion, and Trump's lawyers became angry. Why don't you tell this to the American people? He refused to do it. And a shouting match ensues with John Dowd, Trump's lawyer, pounding on the desk and yelling at Bob Mueller. And the third reveal would be that at that time, Trump's lawyers were deeply worried about the mental state of Bob Mueller. He seemed lost, confused, disoriented. He didn't understand fundamental facts about the case. He seemed to be oblivious to the law of obstruction of justice. And of course, we learned a year and a half later, just this last July, when Mueller testified, it was as if the curtain was pulled back on the Wizard of Oz, and he wasn't what his vaunted reputation had promised.
Wow. Well, there you go. Thank you, Greg. Very, very.
These are some of the many stories in the new book, Witch Hunt, which just came out.
Everyone's got to go and get it. Witch Hunt. There we go. And thank you for being here tonight. Really appreciate it. See you soon.
My pleasure.